We are into Act 2 of Arcane now, where for the first time in this show's life the reviews are mixed. Everything from it being an amazing act to one people want to pretend didn't happen. If you know me, you know I enjoy looking both at the good and the bad, but today I want to focus on the good because despite some flaws to this act, not just people saying it's rushed as well, I think there's deeper root causes than just simply branding it rushed, but despite that, I still very much liked this. I'm a therapist, I'm a person who likes Arcane. Today we're talking about that, we're talking about JINX and ISHA. Yep, that's your intro. We open this act with the Paint the Town Blue montage, a strong montage focusing heavily on blue, surprise surprise. JINX is, I would say trademark, but that's not it, and that's one of the key points I want to make, because it's not like her signature, this is just her most vivid physical feature. Her hair is naturally blue as far as I can understand. But JINX and all the blueness becomes a symbol for the people of Zorn, a symbol of resistance against the Noxians and Enforcers. They rise up and fight. All while Caitlyn scours and gets boxed in uncomfortably by these lines. She wants JINX, suddenly there's a billion JINXes. Then all the music cuts and we have a shot of ISHA with her hand up against a mural of JINX holding a flag before running away, which I don't know if ISHA painted this or she's just got a hand against it, but either way, it's kind of the same point. ISHA looks up to this image of JINX. But when you cut all the music and the effects, what we do have is a small child just running away. Well, I asked a question in my last video about JINX in Act 1, that there is a struggle within her between the hope of repairing or building things and the shame of breaking them. I also mentioned that where Sevika was the one speaking to all the Zornites, trying to pull them together, trying to shoulder the responsibility of Silco's legacy, JINX herself was nowhere to be seen. She was conflicted, wanting to honour Silco's legacy but also hiding away, acting indifferent. I don't care, I'm JINX, I ruin things. Most of all, I'm a villain and a curse.
You ever need to curse a sibling or a family or a society? My card.
She was, of course, being branded by the Topsiders as a villain, and it taps into JINX's internal beliefs. Then something happened. Well, exactly what we've just seen. JINX became a hero. They painted the town blue. She was branded a villain, yes, but by the Topsiders. To the Zornites, she increasingly becomes the opposite, especially as this conflict is flipped from focusing mostly on trying to catch JINX to the more Noxian all-out approach. That rallies the Zornites around a symbol of JINX even more, and she does become that obvious symbol, yes, but these core beliefs about being a villain and a curse, then suddenly people seeing her like a hero instead, does that change her feelings? No, of course not. If anything, it pushes JINX away. She had at least been wandering the streets before. Now we see no sight of JINX outside, shut away in her old den, very much avoiding the world. JINX is dead, she tells us. She looks at ISHA and is reminded of Powder, not JINX.
You kind of remind me of her.
And we see her hiding away to such an extent that the show alters our perception of reality here. We're very briefly led to think JINX has become a commentator in some sort of underground beast fighting ring, before pulling back and seeing it's just imaginative play. Child's play, but crucially instigated by her. But that's strange, isn't it? Not the play, but the fact people suddenly see you as a hero and you end up feeling worse as a result of that. Sevika wants JINX to come out as a figurehead for this meeting, knowing how much it would mean to the people, and JINX straight up refuses. And not just says no, doesn't even go to the meeting in disguise or look into it or have zero interest in finding out what happened at the meeting. She knows none of it. Is all of that strange? No. I think it's entirely natural, and for two main reasons here. Well, before them there is also the very obvious point that JINX does tell us.
I got something going now. A friend. And I don't want to mess it up.
But I don't think this means JINX is massively protective of ISHA. She's not scolding her when ISHA gets involved, not telling her not to, not preventing ISHA playing with her weapons. All the same, yes, that is a factor. She wants to keep ISHA safe and also wants to keep her close, emotionally close. Finally someone she can connect to like a sister. Which, to be fair, she could also be doing as the hero. If she was trying to replicate her old sibling dynamic, then she might want to lead ISHA on missions like Vi did for Powder and Clagger and Milo. But we'll come back to all of this. I was going to make two other points. The first is to do with a pattern this episode presents, of the real JINX and the revolutionary JINX being looked at as two very distinct people.
You expect me to believe JINX, the master criminal wears pants like that.
I enjoyed that this mural looks nothing like Jinx apart from happening to have blue hair, and I think that's what's most fun about this episode. The total split between how Jinx sees herself and how everyone else sees her, and how she finds that split slightly annoying. Act 1 had a lot of allusions towards Jinx dying or wanting to die, and I think quite literally there. Then she was pushed to a breaking point where it almost happened, save for Isha, and all of these explosions with paint that was supposed to be her final send-off. Instead, yeah, turned Jinx into somebody else, seen by the world in a different way that the real Jinx is now struggling to identify with. You know, her hair, her natural hair, just this ordinary part of who she happens to be, is turned into a big symbol. The colour blue, something people then dye their own hair to match, manufacture the same look. It's no longer Jinx's. And also, this is now the only way people do see Jinx, as the revolutionary figure, when she's so many other things as well, has so many other feelings. I can imagine how kind of suffocating that might feel for you, when your hair is reduced down to this one finite meaning. Same with all of her other expression. You know, like all of these theatrics, all of the painting faces and designs on walls, fireworks. Was that all to inspire people, to rally them? No, I think Jinx initially did all of that simply as her own means of expression at a time where she felt totally disconnected. This is her means of just expressing who she is, spilling herself out into the world, also kind of creating a home, trying to make some physical and tangible thing that looked like that once loving place she had with Vander and her sister and the others. All of these theatrics, partly to try and hold on to that past, and also as a grandiose show of indifference to kind of make Jinx her armour. All sorts of different things is the point. Not just specifically to inspire people, and I don't think at all to inspire people. But suddenly that's what it means instead. All of that must kind of feel like her identity has been stolen. Rather than encouraging her, rather than invigorating her, it alienates her. And a second reason I think obviously brings us back to what I said at the start. Everything about her conflicting responsibilities and the feeling that she ruins things. What we've got is someone struggling with the pressure. Someone expected to be a hero, a legend, while deep down feeling like they can't possibly be that. She's a Jinx. If she tried to live up to it, she would fail and make things worse, so it's better not to try at all. And to an extent, this is kind of where her story first began, as a girl just wanting to be useful, just wanting to be able to make a difference. But she tried and it went wrong, so now when people are very much expecting that from her, seeing her as useful, wanting her to make a difference, she's afraid. It's terrifying. So terrifying she can't even show her fear. So, Jinx doesn't attend the meeting, however, Isha does. And then Isha gets captured and that's what forces Jinx's hand. Let's talk about Isha. It's clear Jinx and Isha have a very strong relationship, it's very touching. But it's also clear they don't entirely understand each other. Jinx looks at Isha like a little sister, talks about her sister.
You're lucky. I didn't get to do much of this with my older sis.
Wants to do family things for her, care for her, but also without entirely sheltering her. You know, she's happy to help Isha hold a gun. I think we could probably assume she's taught Isha to fire it. Later employs Isha to help with stealing. I think the way Jinx sees Isha is a mix of like her younger self. Jinx in the Vi role, where Isha is the Powder role, emulating that very same dynamic, being what Vi was to her, but also being what Jinx idealistically hoped Vi would have also been, which is someone who doesn't hold her back, doesn't overprotect in her eyes, but lets Isha help. I mean, I think we can understand why Vi held Powder back when it came to fighting for Vander, but to Powder that moment felt like being abandoned, not being trusted, so Jinx is careful about behaving in a way that might feel similar to Isha, and in a way that's quite touching and caring, but in other ways it's also why Isha does get so involved in combat. But that's Jinx, and then I think Jinx then imagines Isha looks at her the way she once looked at Vi as the older sister, but that's not entirely true. Isha does look up to Jinx as an older sister, yes, but also this. She's putting her hand on the mural. She is wanting blue hair not to be like Powder, but to be like Jinx, to be like the other rioters. That's the bit Jinx is missing. And so when Jinx won't attend the meetings or won't fight, Isha tries to do it in her place. And the fact they do slightly misunderstand each other there is why things go wrong for them in episode 4, and also I would say much more tragically goes wrong for them in episode 6. That does break my heart. But here's a question, here's the real question. Why can't Jinx be both? Why can't she be an older protective sister and also a symbol of revolution? When it comes down to it, yeah, I think Isha does see her for both. That's kind of the problem here, and I think Jinx's reluctance to help Isha properly understand these two sides to her is why Isha comes to her own understanding. But more so, my favourite moment in this episode is actually the moment where Jinx rescues her followers. Because she does go to this prison with Savika, of course she does. Isha has been captured. Would she have gone had Isha not been there? I don't know, but she does, and she is very reluctantly putting on the revolutionary Jinx role, kind of rolling her eyes about that persona. Here I am, here's this dumb persona you wanted me to be, fine, I'll do it as long as I get Isha.
Here I am, your big fat hero.
And so she gets there, she frees them, she expects them to cheer, hail her like some imaginary hero that she feels at odds with. And her followers don't do that. Which is very sensible, yes, don't make a ton of noise to alert the guards, but it's also an incredibly sincere, intimate sort of moment. And it completely knocks Jinx back. It moves her. It feels like connection, it feels like being understood. That's what Jinx has been missing. The reason Jinx offers for not embracing the hero is that she's got something going on now. She's got a friend, she's got someone to look out for, and she doesn't want to mess that up. But it's in this human, caring touch that she realises she's got all these people too. Not only that, but she hasn't messed it up. She's done the complete opposite of messing something up. She saved them. This symbol of Jinx that she thought stole her identity, minimised it, obscured who she actually is. What if that symbol can do the reverse? Can actually connect you to a ton of other people? Can be a symbol of unity not just in a political sense, but also a deeper, emotional, human sense. It's a really powerful moment, and I think it's the turning point for Jinx here. Or at least it could have been. The next 2 episodes see us moving in a slightly different direction for now. She meets Vander where her other father figure, the person she had been asking for guidance on embracing the hero image, didn't appear. So this becomes a new pull in a technical sense, but also more broadly the exact same motivation to find, care and look out for those that she cares for. You know, episode 4 is all over the place structurally. There's a lot of different things going on, some disparate parts, but I think the core threads of this story, this core arc here of Jinx across the episode, I find that really strong. And whatever you think about the whole Vander idea, I can't say I'm entirely sold on it myself, but it is nonetheless quite meaningful to see that this change, this standing up instead of hiding away, this embracing the hero, saving people from a prison, that is what leads her back to Vander. The very person she felt she killed as a result of trying to be the hero, that's what leads her back to him. I love that. And that's this video. Comment your thoughts, subscribe, support me on Patreon or buy me a coffee if you fancy that. But otherwise, hopefully see you next time. And as ever, a special thank you goes to Flying Spider, Grace, Kellyanne Davidson, Luke Orr, Michael Gallagher, Chad Bramwell and Joshua C. Follier. Thank you.